In this video, we will be going over the residential architectural styles used in America. This is part 2 of the series. Let's get started. Slightly askew. Residential slightly askew architecture is a provocative contemporary style that intentionally disrupts traditional notions of stability and rectilinear form. The exterior is defined by tilted volumes, leaning walls, and cantilevered masses that appear to shift or slide against one another, creating a dynamic, off-kilter silhouette that challenges the eye. These homes often feature asymmetrical facades and warped geometric gestures, such as windows set at odd angles or rooflines that descend in single, unexpected directions without traditional landings. Inside, this architectural playfulness translates into fluid, nonlinear spaces, where floors may transition into ramps, and staircases often act as long, continuous promenades, rather than functional stacked units. The interiors prioritize an experiential atmosphere, utilizing an open-concept flow and large banks of glass to emphasize the dramatic angles and provide unique, framed perspectives of the surrounding landscape, effectively turning the structural imbalance into a meticulously engineered work of art. Residential contemporary architecture, a fluid style that reflects the design trends and technologies of the present moment, is defined by its experimental forms and a deep commitment to environmental sustainability. The exterior often breaks from traditional symmetry, showcasing asymmetrical facades, irregular geometric shapes, and flat or sloped roofs that integrate seamlessly with the surrounding landscape through expansive glass walls and mixed materials like concrete, steel, and reclaimed wood. Inside, the architecture prioritizes a bright, open-concept floor plan that minimizes interior walls to foster a sense of unity and natural light, often utilizing double-height ceilings and smart home technology to enhance functionality. These interiors maintain a minimalist ethos, featuring a neutral color palette and a tactile interplay of textures that blur the boundaries between indoor and outdoor living, creating a space that feels both cutting-edge and harmoniously connected to nature. Residential international architecture, often described as the architecture of the machine age, is defined by a strict adherence to minimalism, functionalism, and geometric clarity that avoids all forms of applied ornamentation. The exterior is recognizable by its smooth, untextured surfaces, typically white stucco or concrete, paired with flat roofs and long ribbon windows that sit flush with the wall to emphasize the home's skin-like volume rather than its physical mass. These homes often utilize cantilevered projections and asymmetrical facades that create a sense of weightless balance. Inside, the architecture prioritizes open-concept floor plans, made possible by steel or concrete skeletons, allowing walls to be placed anywhere for maximum flexibility. The interior aesthetic is characterized by a blurring of boundaries, where floor-to-ceiling glass walls and built-in furniture maintain an airy, unobstructed space that focuses on the honest expression of modern industrial materials like glass, steel, and reinforced concrete. Residential butterfly architecture is a striking mid-century modern style, defined by its unique inverted gable roof, where two slopes angle inward to meet at a central valley, mimicking a butterfly's wings in flight. On the exterior, this V-shaped silhouette eliminates the need for traditional gutters by collecting rainwater in the central valley for drainage or harvesting, while the high outer roof lines allow for massive glass walls and clerestory windows that flood the structure with light. Inside, the architecture prioritizes volume and airy openness, as the upward-sloping roof creates soaring, vaulted ceilings that reach their peak at the home's perimeter, providing expansive views and enhanced natural ventilation. This layout often supports an open-concept floor plan with a neutral material palette of wood, steel, and concrete, creating a seamless connection between the interior living spaces and the surrounding landscape. Residential organic architecture, famously pioneered by Frank Lloyd Wright, is defined by the core philosophy that a building should appear as a unified extension of its natural surroundings rather than an imposition upon them. On the exterior, these homes utilize low-slung, horizontal silhouettes, cantilevered roof lines, and site-sourced materials like local stone, wood, and brick to help the structure grow out of its environment. A key feature is the extensive use of floor-to-ceiling glass and ribbon windows, which dissolve the physical barriers between the shelter and the landscape. Inside, the architecture prioritizes a free-flowing, open-concept floor plan centered around a massive masonry hearth, with interiors that emphasize natural textures, built-in furniture, and a rhythmic use of geometry that mirrors biological forms. The result is a highly integrated living space where every element, from the structural beams to the smallest decorative detail, contributes to a sense of harmony and living unity with the natural world. Residential A-frame architecture is defined by its dramatic, triangular silhouette, where the steeply pitched roofline extends all the way to the ground, or near foundation level, serving as both the walls and the roof. This iconic geometric form is primarily designed to shed heavy snow in alpine climates, and is characterized by its massive walls of glass on the front and rear gables, which provide expansive views and flood the interior with natural light. Inside, the architecture is inherently cozy and vertical, typically featuring a double-height living area with exposed wooden rafters and a prominent central fireplace that anchors the open-concept first floor. To maximize the limited footprint created by the sloping walls, these homes often utilize sleeping lofts accessed by spiral or ladder-like staircases, emphasizing a minimalist cabin-style aesthetic that prioritizes natural wood finishes and a seamless connection to the rugged outdoors. Residential New Formalism architecture, emerging in the mid-1950s as a high-style reaction against the stark functionalism of the International style, is defined by its attempt to achieve modern monumentality by blending modernist materials with classical Greek and Roman precedents. On the exterior, these homes are typically set on a raised podium or plinth and feature strictly symmetrical facades, anchored by a level skyline and a heavy projecting roof slab. The style is recognizable by its use of abstracted classical elements, such as slender colonnades, stylized entablatures, and repeating arches, alongside luxurious materials like travertine, marble, and granite. A signature exterior feature is the decorative screen or grille, often made of cast stone or metal, which provides both privacy and a delicate, exotic texture to the smooth wall surfaces. Inside, the architecture maintains a carefully organized hierarchy of space and a high degree of craftsmanship, featuring high ceilings and a structural grid that facilitates an uninterrupted spatial flow. These interiors often utilize the same opulent materials found on the exterior, such as stone flooring and intricate plasterwork, to create a sense of timeless elegance and civic dignity. Residential brutalist architecture, which emerged in the 1950s from the French term béton brut, raw concrete, is defined by a commitment to structural honesty and monumental sculptural forms. On the exterior, these homes are characterized by their heavy, blocky massing and the use of unadorned, often textured raw concrete or brick that proudly displays the imprints of its wooden formwork. Facades are typically monochromatic and asymmetrical, featuring deep-set windows and bold geometric volumes that create a dramatic interplay of light and shadow. Inside, the style maintains this raw aesthetic by leaving structural elements, like exposed concrete slabs, steel beams, and utility pipes, entirely visible rather than concealing them behind plaster or paint. The interior layout often favors an open concept floor plan with a grand minimalist feel, showcasing chunky, modular furniture and a muted color palette that allows the inherent textures of concrete, metal, and wood to serve as the primary decorative interest. Postmodern architecture, emerging in the late 1960s as a rebellious reaction to the rigid austerity of modernism, is defined by its embrace of complexity, contradiction, and playful irony. The exterior is characterized by an eclectic pastiche of styles that mixes classical motifs, such as oversized arches, pediments, and columns, with modern materials and vibrant, sometimes clashing neon or pastel color palettes. These homes often feature asymmetrical silhouettes, fragmented forms, and whimsical camp elements that prioritize sculptural ornament over pure function. Inside, the architecture continues this rule-breaking ethos with nonlinear, open-concept layouts that prioritize visual theater through curved walls, sunken conversation pits, and a bold mixing of industrial and luxury materials like glass block, chrome, and marble. Interiors often showcase Memphis-style geometric patterns, sculptural furniture that blurs the line between utility and art, and a clever use of trompe-l'oeil and fragmented moldings to create a space that feels intentionally provocative and highly expressive. Deconstructivism architecture is an avant-garde style that intentionally disrupts traditional notions of shelter by breaking the home into a series of fragmented, non-rectilinear volumes. On the exterior, these residences are characterized by a sense of controlled chaos, featuring tilted walls, clashing geometric planes, and cantilevered masses that appear to defy gravity or slide apart. The facades often utilize a raw industrial palette of uncovered steel, glass, and zinc to emphasize the honesty of the building's skeletal structure. Inside, the architecture continues this spatial subversion with irregularly shaped rooms, sloping floors, and jagged ceiling planes that challenge the inhabitants' perception of balance and perspective. These interiors prioritize a dynamic, open-concept flow, where traditional room boundaries are replaced by intersecting voids and dramatic light wells, creating a living experience that feels more like an immersive, inhabited sculpture than a conventional house. Shed architecture, a prominent modernist style from the 1960s and 1970s, is defined by its dynamic, asymmetrical silhouette, composed of multiple single-plane shed roofs that slope in different directions with minimal to no eave overhang. The exterior emphasizes a natural and rustic look, typically clad in untreated or stained wood siding, applied vertically, horizontally, or diagonally to follow the roofline, often featuring recessed entrances and varied window shapes, including long, narrow ribbons and clerestories that nestle just beneath the roof peaks. Inside, the style mirrors this geometric complexity through open-concept floor plans with vaulted ceilings, exposed wood elements, and a neutral material palette of beige, brown, and cream. These interiors prioritize natural light and a seamless flow between rooms, utilizing floor-to-ceiling glass to blur the boundary with the outdoors, making the home feel like a sophisticated, multi-level mountain lodge or coastal retreat. Exotic revival architecture is a rare and highly ornamental umbrella style that incorporates non-Western motifs from Egyptian, Moorish, Mayan, and Swiss traditions to create homes that evoke a sense of global adventure and escapism. On the exterior, these residences are defined by their bold, theatrical silhouettes, often featuring onion domes, minarets, or horseshoe arches, Moorish, or massive tapered columns resembling bundles of sticks paired with rolled cavetto cornices, Egyptian. The facades frequently showcase intricate patterned surfaces, such as mosaic tile trim or Swiss-style wooden cutout trim, and windows with unique enfranements that narrow upward. Inside, the architecture continues this immersive fantasy through highly thematic period rooms, characterized by lavish plasterwork, vibrant geometric patterns, and luxurious materials like marble or polished exotic woods. These interiors often utilize internal courtyards and elaborate built-in features, such as stalactite-style vaulted ceilings and arched doorways, all designed to transport the inhabitant to a romanticized version of a distant civilization. Gothic Revival architecture is defined by its vertical, picturesque silhouette that mimics medieval cathedrals, most notably through the use of steeply pitched gabled roofs and iconic pointed arch ogival windows. The exterior is heavily ornamented with gingerbread wooden trim, known as verge boards or barge boards, along the eaves, and often features one-story porches with flattened Gothic arches and delicate wood tracery. Inside, the architecture emphasizes height and drama, often incorporating vaulted or coffered ceilings, pointed arch interior doorways, and dark, intricate woodwork that mirrors the medieval theme. These interiors prioritize a moody, artisanal aesthetic, showcasing stained glass windows, prominent stone fireplaces with carved mantels, and decorative plasterwork that creates a sense of old-world mystery and grandeur. Greek Revival architecture, often called the national style of mid-19th century America, is defined by its attempt to recreate the dignity of a Greek temple through a bold, symmetrical exterior and massive structural elements. The most iconic feature is the entry portico, or full-width porch supported by heavy Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian columns, which carry a prominent triangular pediment and a wide, decorated entablature along the roofline. These homes typically feature a low-pitched gabled or hipped roof and a centered front door surrounded by narrow side lights and a rectangular transom window, all encased in a heavy wooden frame. Inside, the style emphasizes a formal and grand atmosphere, characterized by high ceilings and bold, simple moldings that mimic the exterior's classical proportions. The floor plan usually follows a traditional center hall layout, with wide, double parlor rooms connected by large pocket doors, featuring elegant Greek key motifs in the plasterwork and substantial marble or stone fireplaces that serve as the focal point of the primary living spaces. Italianate architecture, inspired by the sprawling villas of the Italian countryside, is most recognizable by its tall, rectangular massing and a low-pitched roof featuring exaggerated overhanging eaves supported by decorative, oversized brackets. The exterior typically showcases a sense of verticality with 2 or 3 stories, often capped by a central square tower or cupola, belvedere, and adorned with tall, narrow windows topped by ornate, U-shaped or pedimented window hoods. Inside, the style emphasizes a grand and airy atmosphere through extraordinarily high ceilings and a formal, spacious floor plan that often includes a wide central hall and double parlors. The interior aesthetic is defined by its elaborate craftsmanship, featuring heavily carved woodwork, marble fireplaces, and tall, arched interior doorways that mirror the curvaceous window shapes of the facade, creating a sophisticated and romanticized old-world environment. Octagon architecture, a mid-19th century fad popularized by Orson Squire Fowler, is defined by its 8-sided plan, which was designed to maximize interior square footage while minimizing external wall area for better heat retention and ventilation. On the exterior, these unique homes typically feature a low-pitched, hipped or flat roof capped by a central octagonal cupola, wide overhanging eaves with decorative brackets, and a wraparound veranda that often encircles the entire structure. Inside, the architecture is characterized by a radial floor plan centered on a spiral staircase designed to facilitate airflow and light from the cupola down through the core of the house. While the main rooms are spacious and multifaceted, the unique geometry often results in triangular secondary rooms used for closets, pantries, or innovation-driven features like indoor plumbing and central heating ducts, all reflecting Fowler's belief that a home should be a healthy, organic machine for living. Thank you for watching. Please check out Part 3, the final part of this series. This video has been brought to you by C94 Construction, LLC. Call us today at 302-867-7341 or visit us today at c94construction.com to get your next project started. $0 down financing is available. At C94 Construction, we specialize in providing custom carpentry and remodeling solutions for your home or business. All of our work is completed to the highest standards with the utmost attention to detail. Every project we take on is designed and handcrafted in-house by our local master craftsman, Christian Carr. When you choose C94 Construction to take on your next project, you are getting more than just a contractor. You are getting a personal advisor, designer, and craftsman all in one. You are getting a company set out on a mission to make your dreams become a reality.